Okay, so this is Lab 5. Here we have the hardware connections. It's very important that these three parts here are on board on the ISP32. I'm just putting this out if you require this for the code. But we're using the onboard red LED, the new pixel power enable, the new pixel data pin. And then from here is the only four connections that I'm actually have physically on my board, which is just powering the accelerometer and then setting up the I2C communication with the pin 33 and pin 32. So that is basically the hardware that we have right now. And from here, here's a high-level overview of what we're going to do. Important things here, we're using ThinkSpeak. We're using the app, the IFTT with the applets that are stationed here. And now we're gonna go into the code. So first what we need to do is just set up all the libraries, and then from here we're gonna set up the Wi-Fi communication. We're gonna set up the ThinkSpeak, the read key and the channel ID. And what is new, we need to set up the IFTT webhook so we can do all the triggers and the events that are going to happen. Then from there, what we're gonna do is just define the motion detection. Here I put these values just because if I put very low values, it's very sensitive. So any type of small movement, it can send a notification, which is not ideal. And this notification cooldown is part of the lab requirement that every minute it should only send a notification. So we define it here the 60 seconds. And also this is a sensor read interval that I define. I just put 0.3 to not have like too much information down here. And also, yeah, we're defining here the red LED, the pin output, the new pixel, and here we're defining the I2C communication with the accelerometer, which is right here. Then from here, we're just checking if the system is armed. We gotta check the ThinkSpeak flag. If it was true, then start as armed. If it's not true, then just maintain the disarm connection. Then from here, we're gonna do the connect Wi-Fi function, which already did in previous labs. And here we're gonna do something very similar that we did in previous lab, which is just defining the ThinkSpeak communication and just checking if it's the value that we have. So this is just functions that we already did in previous labs. Here's the new one that we're gonna do with the IFTTT, which we need to get these values also from the IFTT webpage. And here's the print that we're gonna do. And if something is wrong with the IFTT configuration, here I define an error, which was actually pretty helpful to do some troubleshooting. And from here, we're also just gonna define the new pixel functions and a timer callback to check the ThinkSpeak flag, which is gonna do every 30 seconds, which is required from the lab. Also, yeah, we're just gonna check the accelerometer, we're gonna check the movement that it's doing, and we're gonna check the motion by checking like the last acceleration with the current acceleration. And from there, we just check if it's superior than the threshold to check that movement. Then from here, what we're gonna do is just, do the whole program of the functions that we have defined. So we're gonna connect to Wi-Fi, and then we're gonna check the acceleration of the accelerometer. We're gonna check this every 30 seconds and do the callback timer. And from there, we're gonna do an infinite loop. So from here, it's gonna check the ThinkSpeak flag. And if it's activate mode, then I'm gonna verify that the sensor is on. If it's in deactivate, then I'm gonna turn the sensor off of the motion sensor that we have. From here, if the system is armed, then we're gonna check the acceleration movement of this sensor, and I'm just printing here the values down here. And yeah, basically, if that's the case, then we're gonna turn on the red LED value, and this is the interval that I was mentioning. That is 0.3 seconds. And then from here, yeah, I just like put the main, and we're gonna run all of this constantly. So yeah, I'm gonna show another video, but basically this is what we have. Here we have the red LED on. If I don't move it, it doesn't turn on. If I move it, it's gonna turn on. And yeah, I'm gonna show in another video how it works with the phone and the notifications. Oh yeah, sorry. Before that, I just want to show the IFTT configurations. Here's the function of OK Google activate sensor on, and then it's gonna make the web request. If I say OK Google activate sensor off, it's gonna make the request for sensor off. And this is the notification that we will receive in our phone if motion is detected. So yeah, we just have to define these functions also. So the program can be working, and here's the ThinkSpeak setup, and also here you can see the API keys to get those values, and also the channel settings. So yeah, just setting all this up so we can do the demo. Hello, so this is Lab 5. I just brought it here. I want to test it out with the computer for the demonstration. So yeah, right now here we have the ESP32 connected to the accelerometer via I2C communication. And yeah, basically what we're gonna show now is that it can work without the laptop. So yeah, I'm just gonna call in the Google Assistant command function. So I'm just gonna ask for it to turn on. Okay, Google, activate sensor on.
Okay, activating sensor on.
Then it's gonna send that information to the the web, and then the ESP32 will get the value that will activate the motion sensor device that we have here with the IFTTT configuration that we made. So it's updating every 30 seconds. That's why it's taking like a long time for it to turn on. But basically, that's the condition that was defined for the high-level overview of the circuit. So right now, if we move it, oh, okay, there it is. It's turned on. And this is when the motion sensor is activated. So currently, I have no notifications on my phone because there has been no movement. But if I move the device, that red LED is going to turn on, which is turning on right now. And then I will get a notification on my phone that there was a motion detected. So basically, this is the part that if there's a movement, it's going to send a notification. So right now I set it up that it sends a notification every 30 seconds just so that it doesn't like spam a lot of notifications. But yeah, we got the notification. And then from there, if we want to test, like we want to turn on the motion sensor, we just call here the Google Assistant again. Okay, Google, activate sensor off.
Got it. Activating the sensor off.
And now it's gonna send deactivate the motion sensor. So as we mentioned right now, it's updating that activate, deactivate every 30 seconds. It's gonna take a while. But as we can see here, the new pixel is turned off. And now if I move this, it's not gonna turn on the red LED. And I will not get no notifications on my phone. So yeah, basically this is the lab for the motion detection. And yep.